So Megan Barton-Hanson, almost 2 million followers on Instagram, probably Love Island's most known contestant, here with us today. And you're only 26 years old. All of the things that you've achieved so far. I thought I'd have a look at everything you've been doing before we met. And the one thing I noticed, that everything you do ends up on the news. How do you deal with that? Every Instagram story, everything.
It is mad. Like, literally, I'll post the tiniest thing, like just joking with my friends, and it'll end up on the Daily Mail. I'm like, I did not anticipate that 3 drinks in on a night out, all over the news the next morning. It is mad. Like, obviously, I walked in to Love Island being like a completely normal person. I'd go to Tesco with my hair scragged up, no makeup, and now everything I do, like, people will recognise me and know who I am. So it's mad.
Is it like good and bad? Like, how does it affect your day-to-day life, I guess?
No, it is good. Like, I'm so fortunate to be given that platform, and I'm so glad I done it. And I think the jobs I had previous kind of gave me a little bit of, like, I'll know what's coming. So I was dancing in my local area, and I had a lot of judgment for that and a lot of people talking. So it's kind of like that, but just times 100.
One of the things that, so even when I Googled, it's like Megan Barton-Hanson before, like people have always been so focused on the way that you look as well. Like,
Yeah.
how does that make you feel?
That was a massive thing, you know, and I never realised walking into it that would be such a big thing. I thought my past working in like the sex industry would be huge and everyone would have an opinion on that because it is pretty taboo still, unfortunately. But the looks thing, I just was blown away because obviously the before picture, I'm like a 16-year-old girl, and it's like you're comparing me to like a 23-year-old. It was just horrible because obviously back then I didn't feel like I was terrible looking, but all this trolling and like, oh my god, look at her glasses, look at her hair, look at this, and it wasn't nice. It was really hard, and I actually saw that before I came out the villa. So one day before we came out into the real world, the final had passed and was in this like holding villa before we come out. I was looking on YouTube, and it was actually on YouTube, Megan before, and I was sitting there with everyone. I was like, oh my god. So it was just the sheer panic, thinking, what are you going to come out to? But I guess with that sort of show, you know, they're going to dig up stuff. But it was just because it was so focused on my looks, it was kind of harsh.
Now that you're older, how do you kind of deal with it? How do you like just try and look past what everyone says about you?
Like I said, I think because I'd done the job I did before, I kind of toughened up a bit, because I think with the job I had before, people are always going to say something negative. And I think when I read other, like when I first come out, I used to take notice and read the comments on like the Daily Mail, for example. And it's like you don't get anything positive from that. So I think it's just building that tough skin and just like, you're not going to please everyone. You could be the kindest person. Like even the most loved people on Love Island, they'll still get negative comments. So I just think you just got to do you and be a little bit selfish. As long as I'm happy, my direct family and friends are happy, and that's all that matters.
How does it affect like your relationships with your friends, or like if you're gonna get into a new relationship with someone, are you like, oh, I can't post you on Instagram because the paparazzi might be outside your door for 3 days? Like, does that make it difficult?
Yeah, it is hard because you've got to really think. So normally when you date someone, it's just your close friends that know. And if it lasts a week, it doesn't matter. If it lasts a month, no one's going to judge you. Whereas I think where I've had the relationship on Love Island, that went terribly wrong. Then I've had a few other public relationships. It's just that pressure that people are going to perceive me, that I can't hold down a relationship. So that is a big worry for me. I kind of like keep everything secret now if I can.
And the relationships that you've had, they've been quite high profile. And obviously you've dated women. How weird was that for you to kind of come out so publicly?
It was really odd, but I felt like it kind of happened for a reason, like it was fate. So I'd done Love Island, and I remember the first time I had an interview with them, I said I was open to girls and guys. Didn't get picked for that season, and then the next time I come on, fell in love with a guy. Then I had Celebs Go Dating, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do another dating show. But for me, because I'd only kind of seen girls casually, and it was just kind of just happened, I didn't know how to go about finding girls that were gay. And I like really like feminine girls, so it was like really hard to know, like if I'm out in a bar, are these people gay? So with Celebs Go Dating, they would handpick me girls. So I thought, oh, that take the pressure off. So I kind of come out in that way, but all my like close friends and family knew.
How long have you been romantically dating women? When did you essentially come out first, or when was your first experience?
I think since I was like 19, but like I said, it was like very casual, it's nothing. And I think at that age, I didn't really take it seriously. Like I didn't think I would potentially marry a woman or have a long-term relationship with a woman. I just saw it as I enjoyed it for what it was. But I think coming out of Love Island, I was more open. I think as you grow as a person, you just become more open, I think, and it's more about the connection you have with the person as opposed to their sex.
What's your type?
Well, when I first went on Let's Go Dating, I was like, I want a really girly girl, like hair extensions, massive boobs, super feminine. But now I think I like the more tomboy girls. It's weird. My friends are like, you never said you like tomboy girls, but I definitely do.
And I guess you are not what anybody expects when you talk about gay women. Like, for so long they've been perceived as short hair, cut off jeans, all those kind of things. Do you feel like a role model in some kind of way for girls who want to still be extremely feminine but are gay as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I think for a lot of people, it's not about the sex of a person. It's like the connection they have with someone. And there shouldn't be like a stereotypical look just because that's how you feel when the person you fall in love with. You don't have to look a certain way. I think that's a very like old-fashioned way of looking at it. So yeah, and I think also for girls that work in the sex industry, that was a big thing as well, why I didn't like shout from the rooftops that I would be open to dating a woman, because people see it for like the male gaze or like, oh, it's just a sexual thing, but it's so much more than just sex for me. It's like the connection I have with someone.
Do you see yourself in the future being with a man or a woman?
I think either. I think since I've dated and had a long-term relationship with a woman, I think I would see myself more with a woman, to be honest. Yeah.
What are you like to date?
Oh, I'm hard work. I'm not gonna lie. I am very needy. I like a lot of attention, so I'd say yeah, I'm hard work.
And what's a good date for you? Because you get recognised everywhere you go. So how do you sort of like manage dating people and keeping it out of the public eye at the same time?
It is hard. Like I try and avoid central London, so I'm from Essex, so I'll just go to like a cute little bar in my area. And that's quite good. But I don't know, it is hard. Lockdowns help. I've had a lot of like FaceTime dates and stuff from the privacy of my own home. And then if it gets awkward, I just be like, oh, bad signal, bye.
Is it really, how do you, like, I've never done a FaceTime date. What's it like? Was it weird? Was it?
No, it was nice, you know. So I only had to just put makeup on and a nice top, was in my pyjama bottoms, sat there with a glass of rosé. It was fun.
Do you sort of like, do you know what you're going to ask going in, or is it like totally casual?
Do you know what helps well? No, house party help, because then there's games. If it gets a bit awkward, you'd be like, oh, do you want to play a bit of trivia? I'm such a geek.
When you are in the news so much, do you worry that people maybe research you? That like, do you feel like when you're going into that situation that they have the advantage because they know so much more about you?
Yeah, and it's all one-sided. I feel like it's how the media portray me, so it's not necessarily the whole truth, or their narrative will be very like to sexualize me and see me as this like man-eater or this, I don't know. I think my character from Love Island is always going to stay with me a bit, so that's my biggest fear. I feel like I hope people don't research me too much and judge me. But I do think I'm so different to how I was on Love Island. Like I'm actually really shy and introverted and quite geeky. So I think when people meet me, they're like, oh, okay, you're not this like bad bitch people made you out to be.
Does it feel like a character? Does it feel like you're like completely removed from yourself then?
Yeah, so that's why I've never watched it back. Like I've seen little snippets of it, but I refused because it was such a nice summer for me and I loved it. I enjoyed every moment, and I don't want to look back and then see, oh, they've edited this or they've like perceived it this way kind of thing. Because there's a few things that my mum and like friends have said to me, like, oh, I could see you was about to carry on a sentence and they cut you off to make you look more. And I get they've got like a TV show to film and everyone's got a character, so I guess mine was just the man-eater.
And since you've come out, you've never made any kind of secret of sex work, any of that kind of stuff, OnlyFans, and you use your femininity and, you know, use that to make money. Do you ever get any backlash for that? Do you worry about that, or do you kind of think it's just a strong positive image for girls to use whatever they want to make their career?
Yeah, I think in a society where you get more if you look feminine in a certain way. Like men have used women like for music videos and whatever to use us as an accessory. So if I'm going to make money for myself, why shouldn't I? Like men would easily do it. And even recently, since the whole COVID thing, like in the news, it's been like, oh, women need to dress up more when they're having Zoom meetings and look more professional. So if men can tell us to look a certain way, I'm going to look a certain way and make money from it. That's the way I see it. And I just think for such a long time, anyone in sex industry, whether it's like webcam to glam modeling or anything like that, they've had such a hard time just because it's a woman doing what she wants with her body. So I think hopefully the more people in the media do it, like me, like Beyonce mentioned OnlyFans in her song and things like that, I think slowly, and Cardi B's new song, I think hopefully times are changing.
Do you feel like with this you're completely in control, so it's not like an industry where you know where you have loads of men directing what you do, you can do what you choose? Does that make you feel more empowered in a way?
Yeah, 100%. I think when I first started glam modeling it was different, so I would go on a photo shoot and then people would sell the pictures for what they wanted and I would get a cut, whereas now I think it's so good platforms like OnlyFans and stuff, girls are in full control of what you want to put out, what level you shoot to, and you get all the money. So
like, how do you do it? Because I'm thinking I can't even take a selfie most of the time properly. Like, how have you managed this setup?
I am lucky. I've got like my best friend's my hairdresser. I've got makeup artist friends. Bought a ring light during lockdown, and then we just put the tunes on, and I'm like, oh, come on, get my angles, get my whole crew around.
And with that, I mean, do you think it's something you're going to continue for a long time? Is it, you know, just for now? Have you got any plans for?
To be honest, it was just for now. Like during lockdown, I do get so bored, and I thought it's something to do. And obviously, because I've come from that background, and I knew everyone was at home, I was like, webcam girls are going to clean up right now. I was like, I need to get in on this. So I thought, and also I felt like a hypocrite. So I do these talks all the time about like women empowerment and champion women in the sex industry, and I was like, so since I've been on a show and I had a bit of backlash for it, I've kind of shied away, but I'll continue to do these talks. So I felt like a hypocrite. So I was like, why shouldn't I jump back on it, make some money, have a laugh while I shoot, and get these pictures?
Have you ever had any really negative experiences, like maybe way back when you were modelling or anything? Has it ever been anything that's sort of put you off?
Yeah, I think with that job you have got to like have your wits about you. I think stripping was definitely hard, and no one really warned you about that. I mean, you're there half naked, you're in a very vulnerable position, I guess, and then there's like a load of drunk people around you. So yeah, I think that's something that I want to do as well, use my platform to talk about it, but not just for the positive reasons, actually show the reality of it, and like it can be really risky, and you've got to have your wits about you, I guess, when you do that sort of work.
How did you get into it?
So I was struggling for money. I was working in the city as a PA, and I didn't really have a lot of money, and my boyfriend at the time didn't want to go travelling with me. So I went on a budget holiday to Benidorm, and I see this stripper, and I was like, she looks so happy, she's getting so much money. So we went into the strip club. I come back, and the first thing I'd done was like knock on the door. I was like, hi, can I have a job? They probably looked at me like I was so shy and innocent. And I was like, can you dance? I was like, kind of. I was like, yeah, okay, try it. So then yeah, I went in, and then the next day I turned up for my shift in cute little underwear that I got from Primark, and then a girl gave me a dance, and I was like, oh, okay. I think that's what might have turned me gay, you know, that first strip dance. I was like, oh, okay.
Are there many gay people in the sex industry, like women or?
A few. I was so young when I'd done it, and I was 20, and it was a really tiny club, so there was only like 5 girls. But there was like a Russian girl there who, like, I used to go around hers before, and she'll teach me like tricks on the pole and stuff. And I did get really drunk and try and make a move on her, and she was like, absolutely not, you know, my boyfriend. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Did it feel awkward when you do your first dances? Like, did you feel like you had no idea what you're doing, or was
Yeah, and I'm so stiff, like I can't actually dance, but it's just a lot of swaying, to be honest. Have a few ones, you'll be fine. Also, I used to look on YouTube. My parents would be like, what are you doing? I still lived at home at the time, and I'd get like a chair from the dining room table and just be like sweating around this chair like an absolute nutter. But no, it's easy. And you've got to remember, I think you're half naked and these people are half pissed, so it's fine. Just go with it.
From when you started back then, did you ever imagine that you would be where you are now?
Not at all. Even I started glam modelling, and the manager, he was like, oh, why don't you just apply for Love Island? I was like, no way, I'm so shy. And he was like, just do it for the confidence, just do it for the experience, to say you've done that. And then, yeah, they was interested. So even when I got it, I think from the moment I walked in the doors of the villa, I thought, oh, I'm so quiet compared to everyone on here. I'll last like a week. But obviously not. It worked, whatever I was up to.
How much did your life change the second you came out of that villa? Was it like instant?
Yeah, it was mad. I remember we walked through the airport and it was like carnage. Like there was people everywhere. There was perhaps people falling over, girls screaming at Wes. Like, oh my god! I was like, oh my god, you must feel like Justin Bieber right now. It was mad. But no, it's been such a positive experience. And like I said, the platform and just having a voice, because I think a lot of people that come out of that show, like they do great things, but a lot of it's for like money or like big brand deals. So for me, what drives me is like doing the talks. And I think because I have got such a unique and interesting background, I've got so much to talk about. And even if it helps one person feel better in their decision, if they're getting flack for, I don't know what, like I spoke about mental health and being on antidepressants or working in the sex industry or coming out as gay, any of them things, I think even if I can help one person, it's worth it. All the trolling, all the Daily Mail articles of me looking absolutely awful.
Has anyone ever contacted you and said, you know, like what you said really made a difference, whether that be gay or mental health or anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what drives me, like the DMs and stuff. And it's so rewarding to do these talks because I remember just being like so quiet and shy at school and thinking, oh my God, does anyone feel the way I felt when I was going through a really dark time of depression and stuff? So it's great to be able to do that and think from where I was young and introverted and so shy, like I wouldn't even put my hand up at school, to now be doing these talks. I just hope it like encourages girls to think you will grow. Like with age is a big thing as well. I think you get more confident as you get older.
And if there was like, say, girls who hadn't come out yet, who maybe don't know, you know, how to go about that, what would your advice be for them?
For me, I was really lucky because my parents are super open, and I think from a young age I always would hint to my mum, be like, oh, what would you do if I got a girlfriend? She'd be like, nothing, Meg, as long as you're happy. So it was really easy for me. But I think just tell like your close friends and people you're comfortable with. Like you don't have to go out and like scream it from the rooftops and like make a big announcement. I think sometimes people are like, oh, what's your coming out story? And people think it needs to be a big elaborate thing. But I think as long as you're happy and your close friends know, that's all you have to worry about.
Since you mentioned it, what's yours? How did you, was it just a chat or?
Yeah, so like I said, I used to drop hints all the time with my mum, and then I was kind of seeing this girl and my mum knew of her, and I was like, oh, I stayed down there last night. And I just told her, like, we're very open, we talk about sex, talk about everything. And she was like, oh, good for you. And that was really it. But I don't think she ever took it seriously until I said, like, I wanted to go on Celebs Go Dating and properly date a girl. And then when I had my first relationship with a girl, like, proper serious one, she was like, oh, so do you see yourself, like, marrying a woman? I think her biggest concern, she wants grandkids. She was like, you can have kids. I was like, yeah, of course. It would just be, like, a different process. So yeah, it wasn't a really big thing. I guess coming out to the public was Celebs Go Dating. I think that was a bit of a shock, like those headlines and stuff. But my close family and friends knew for a long time.
Were you worried about backlash, essentially, like maybe brands not working with you or anything like that? Or did you just think this is who I am, living my best life, and that's how it is?
Yeah, I think we've come a long way. Like I don't think many brands would be like that, but it's more, for me, I was worried people would think it was like a publicity stunt and then not take me seriously. Because both elements, like you said earlier, like the stereotypical like butch lesbian, like I'm quite girly, worked in the sex industry, so I was just really worried that people would be like, you're just doing it for attention, you're doing it for headlines or whatever. So that was kind of disheartening. And also when guys are like, it's just because it didn't work out with men, that's why you like girls. It's so infuriating. I'm like, that is not why.
I bet you get that all the time.
Yeah, or like the DMs like, oh, you just need to be with a real man like me. I'm like, oh, please no, go away.
What are you doing at the moment? What are you promoting? What are you doing? What's on the agenda for you?
So I've got a podcast in the pipeline that I'm so excited about. That's with a company called Entout, and they're like producing it all, and I can't wait for that. So that will basically be covering all the topics I go out and speak about, so like mental health, sexuality, sex industry, things like that. So I can't wait for that to come out. I'm going to get like different people on because I've met so many wonderful people with this platform and on social media. I think it's a great way to meet people from like different communities and stuff. And then I've just started working with a charity called Just Like Us, which is like an LGBTQ plus, I can never say that, charity. And I'm actually going back to my old school to do a talk with them, so that will be great.
Nice. And you're in partnership with Anne Summers as well. You're doing a lot of modelling with
yeah,
them as
and
an
like
ambassador.
yeah, I'm the pleasure positivity director, another tongue twister there. So yeah, just trying to make it more like normal for women to speak about female pleasure and less taboo. Like men speak about it all the time, so I think women should be able to. and prioritise women's pleasure. I think even in like films and stuff, it's all about the man, and like women don't enjoy sex, but that's such an old-fashioned myth, isn't it? I think just breaking down them taboos, and a company called Lilo I'm working with as well. That would be good.
And what is the future for you? What do you hope to achieve in the next few years?
Oh God, that's a big scary question. Just continue what I'm doing, I guess, using my platform for things that I'm really passionate about. Yeah, and that's it. I want to buy a house. Was looking at houses during lockdown. To buy a house, continue doing what I'm doing. Hopefully find someone to settle down with.
To be continued. Right, we've got a little game for you. As always, we love a game here. So, with all of the Instagram followers that you have, I can well imagine that people slide into your DMs constantly.
Yeah.
We're all about helping people here at Nonchalant. So we're going to get you to rate DM slides.
Okay. Oh, I love this.
So going to start off with the standard, hey babes, you okay?
It's not very imaginative, is it?
No, it's terrible.
I mean, if the profile's banging, I might reply. As long as it's not private. If you're going to come in with a basic line like that, you need to be unprivate account so I can see what I'm working with.
And be banging.
Yeah.
Use your best
So
pictures.
shallow.
Okay, what about a GIF? Even if it's like a hilarious GIF.
I think that's okay. But if I don't answer, then you need to come back with a good one-liner after.
They're hard to reply to, aren't they? I'm like, would you send another GIF back? How do you do it?
Yeah.
But right, okay.
I'm so awkward, I wouldn't know what to put. I just put lol.
What about, okay, so a really cheesy one. I think you dropped something. It was your standards. I'm Zoe, by the way.
No, that is terrible. No. No.
Right, so no cheese. And what about pro sliders? What about just a hot nude?
Oh, I rate that. Do you know? The confidence. I love a confident person.
How much clothes do they need to have on?
Oh, at least something. Let's not go full nude straight away. But like a sexy selfie would be cute.
Right, okay, that one's being rated. And what about a cheeky compliment? I usually go for 7s, but I thought I'd try my luck with a 10 today.
Yeah, flattery gets you places. Yeah. I would work with that.
That one seems borderline for you. What about the people who do loads of research? So like, how was that holiday to Dubai in 2014?
Oh no, that might be an instant block, you know. Like 2014,
Really?
I don't even know what I was doing in 2014. Yeah.
Right, okay. What about the really slick, was your dad an astronomer? Because I think he stole the stars out the sky and put them in your eyes.
Oh no. My tolerance for cheese is not good. No.
I bet you've had all of these before as well.
My favourite was some girl was like, oh, I'm just moving into your DMs, and then she'd done all the furniture emojis. I did quite like that.
My God, that is
And
brilliant.
then I didn't reply, so goes, oh, okay, I'm just moving out, and then moving out emoji, which I thought was very creative.
Did she ever get a reply?
Mm-mm.
Whoever you are, good shout. Right, what about, see, I never know whether to believe these ones or not, like total novice, the one who's like, oh, I've never done this before, but I couldn't pass by your page because you're so beautiful.
I think I've used that before. I never normally DM people, but hi. Everyone's like, that's a blatant lie, isn't it?
Right. Okay, what about someone who's a bit of a joker? So like, I'm doing research for a book and I need your help. It's a phone book. It's missing your number.
I like that.
Yeah?
That is, yeah.
Strong.
That is a strong one.
And then the last one, an absolute grafter. So a trophy emoji with the words, this is what you win for being the best looking girl on Instagram.
Kind of cute.
Yeah.
I think for me it needs to be funny or just really confident and just send me a really banging picture.
Right, so nudes and emojis.
Yeah, nudes or emojis. Get creative with the emoji.
Brilliant. That's it. Thank you so much for interviewing with us today. That's brilliant. Really enjoyed it.